AITA for refusing to split a concert ticket with my friend because he stiffed me last time and now he's calling me petty? Look, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm still fuming and I need Reddit to tell me if I'm the jerk here. My buddy Nate and I have been hitting up concerts together since we were 17, sneaking into dive bars with fake IDs to catch local punk bands. Fast forward a decade and we're still chasing that high, only now it's festivals and overpriced IPAs. But last month, Nate pulled something that's got me questioning our whole vibe. He's blowing up our group chat, calling me a cheapskate for not splitting a ticket to see this indie band, the Velvet Owls, at a pop-up show in an old warehouse. Thing is, he still owes me for the last show we went to and I'm not about to get burned again. Let me back up. I'm a graphic designer, freelancing mostly, so I'm not exactly swimming in cash, but I budget hard for music. Live shows are my therapy. There's nothing like losing yourself in a crowd, feeling the bass rattle your ribs. Nate's different. He's a bartender at this bougie cocktail spot, always acting like he's got endless stacks because he's pulling tips. Spoiler, he doesn't. He's just got this knack for dodging tabs. Like he'll forget his wallet or Venmo you 3 weeks late with some emoji-heavy apology. I've let it slide for years because he's Nate goofy, loyal, the guy who'll hype you up when you're bombing at karaoke. Our crew usually hits one big festival a year, but we also catch smaller gigs when we can. The Velvet Owls are this artsy band we both love, think synth-heavy vibes with lyrics that hit like a therapy session. 6 months ago, they played a tiny venue and I snagged 2 tickets for $80 each. Nate swore he'd pay me back, but when I asked for his half, he hit me with, "Oh, I thought we were just vibing, man. I'll get you next time." Next time never came. I didn't push it then because I hate awkward money talks, but it stung. I mean, $80 is a week of groceries for me. Fast forward to last month. The Owls announced a one-night-only gig in this abandoned warehouse-turned-art space, all DIY with string lights and murals everywhere. Tickets were $120 each, steep, but it was gonna be magic. Nate was all over it, texting me at 1 a.m., "Yo, we have to go." I'm picturing us raging under those neon signs. I was in, but I told him straight up, "Cool, but you're covering your ticket. I'm not floating you again." He laughed it off like I was joking, but I wasn't. When the tickets dropped online, he kept pushing us to buy together to split the fees. I held firm. "Nate, you still owe me $80. Buy your own." Cue the meltdown. He called me, voice all dramatic, saying I was holding a grudge and ruining the vibe. I tried to stay calm, laying it out, "Dude, you didn't pay me last time. I'm not your ATM." He flipped it, accusing me of being petty over pocket change. Pocket change? I reminded him I'm not pulling bartender tips every night. Things got heated and he hung up, but not before saying, "Good luck finding someone else to go with, loner." Ouch. The next day he bought his ticket solo and posted a cryptic story on Insta, some meme about fake friends with a sad face emoji. Subtle, Nate. I ended up going with my coworker Lila, who's chill and actually Venmo'd me her half before we even got there. The show was unreal, sweaty, loud, with this trippy light show that made the warehouse feel like a fever dream. But Nate was there too, and it was weird. He kept shooting me these looks across the crowd like I'd betrayed him. At one point, he came over during a set break, beer in hand, and tried to play nice. "You having fun without me, bro?" I just nodded, not wanting to start something in the middle of the pit. Lila whispered, "Is he always this extra?" and I couldn't help but laugh. Now it's been 3 weeks and our group chat's a mess. Nate's telling everyone I ditched him over some old debt and a couple friends are siding with him, saying I should have just split the ticket to keep the peace. Others are like, "Nah, he's gotta pay his share." I'm torn. On one hand, I feel justified, why should I keep covering him? On the other, maybe I could have handled it better, like talking it out before it blew up. I miss our concert nights, but I'm sick of feeling like his personal piggy bank. Reddit, I'm stuck. Was I wrong for refusing to split the ticket, or is Nate just dodging accountability? AITA? AITA for telling my roommate his drumming is keeping me up and now he thinks I'm some music-hating robot? Okay, Reddit, I'm losing my mind here and I need you to tell me if I'm the bad guy. My roommate, Theo, has decided our tiny apartment is his personal drum studio and it's driving me up the wall. I finally snapped and told him his late-night jam sessions are ruining my sleep and now he's acting like I've personally insulted his soul. He legit said I don't get music and stormed off, cymbals still ringing in my ears. I just want to sleep, not start a band feud, but am I the jerk for calling him out? Here's the deal. I'm a 26-year-old barista and part-time student juggling night shifts and Zoom classes in urban planning. I live in this shoebox of an apartment in a converted textile factory. Think exposed brick, creaky floors, and walls so thin I can hear the neighbor's cat sneezing. It's not glamorous, but it's cheap, and the rooftop has this killer view of the city skyline that makes me feel like I'm in a movie. I found Theo on a housing app called Roomies, where he described himself as chill, creative, nocturnal. Cool, I thought. I'm nocturnal too, thanks to my schedule. What he didn't mention was that creative meant owning a full drum kit and treating 1 a.m. like it's Woodstock. Theo's 24, a sound engineering student, and honestly, he's a decent guy most of the time. He's got this wild curly hair he ties back with a bandana, always wears mismatched socks, and leaves little post-it doodles on the fridge like a cartoon octopus holding a coffee mug. He's obsessed with music, not just drumming but vinyl records, obscure jazz playlists, even this weird app called Soundscape where he mixes ambient noises like rain and train whistles into vibes. I respect the hustle. I do. I'm not a total square, I've got my own Spotify playlists, heavy on lo-fi beats to study to, but I need sleep to function, not a live percussion show. The drumming started a month after he moved in. At first, it was daytime stuff and I just put on headphones or head to the coffee shop. But then he got a part-time gig at a music store and started practicing at night, claiming it's when he's most inspired. Picture this, I'm sprawled on my futon, half dead from a double shift, trying to memorize zoning laws, and suddenly it's boom crash boom like a thunderstorm's moved into our living room. The kit's set up in his bedroom, but with our paper-thin walls, it's like he's playing inside my skull. I tried earplugs, white noise apps, even blasting my own music, nothing drowns it out. Last week, I got 4 hours of sleep before a midterm and bombed it. That was my breaking point. I waited until Saturday when we were both chilling with takeout burritos to bring it up. I didn't want to ambush him, so I started casual. Hey, Theo, your drumming's super cool, but it's been tough to sleep lately. Could you maybe keep it to earlier hours? I thought I was being diplomatic, but his face fell like I'd canceled Christmas. He put down his burrito, leaned back, and said, "Wow, I didn't peg you as someone who'd hate on art." Art? I blinked, confused. I don't hate it, man. I just need to sleep. Then he went off, voice all intense, "Music's my outlet. You don't get how much I need this. Why can't you just deal?" I tried to explain classes, work, basic human biology, but he cut me off with, "Maybe get better earplugs." Then he grabbed his dishes and shut his door. Cue the passive-aggressive snare rolls at 2 a.m. that night. Now it's a full-on Cold War. He's been leaving his drumsticks on the counter like a taunt, and yesterday he played a playlist called Rhythmic Rebellion, so loud I could feel it in my teeth. I retaliated by blasting my lo-fi beats while he was on a Zoom call, which, yeah, wasn't my proudest moment. Our other roommate, Priya, who's barely here because she's always at her girlfriend's, texted the group chat saying we're both acting like kids and to sort it out. Easier said than done. I looked up noise ordinances, but I don't want to be that guy reporting my roommate. I also checked Roomies for new listings, but moving's not an option with my budget. I feel bad because Theo's clearly passionate and I don't want to kill his vibe. Maybe I could have been nicer about it or offered a compromise, like specific practice hours. But I'm also pissed, why's it on me to bend when he's the one turning our place into a drum circle? I'm exhausted, my grades are slipping, and I'm one more crash away from losing it. Reddit, tell me, AITA for asking him to tone down the drumming, or am I just a sleep-deprived grump who doesn't get his art? AITA for dipping out halfway through my friend's concert because I was bored out of my mind and now she's acting like I stabbed her in the back? I'm seriously questioning myself here, Reddit, so please weigh in. My friend Zara had her big debut as a singer-songwriter at this quirky little venue and I bailed mid-set because, honestly, it was dragging hard. Now she's texting me novels about how I ruined her night and don't support her dreams. I feel like a jerk, but also, am I obligated to sit through 2 hours of snooze fest just to be a good friend? Help me unpack this. I'm 29, a remote tech support guy who spends most of my free time gaming or doom-scrolling on my phone. I'm not exactly Mr. Social, but I've known Zara since college, where we bonded over late-night diner runs and arguing about the best Pokemon starters, Bulbasaur, Fight Me. She's always been the artsy one, think flowy scarves, lavender iced coffee, and an Instagrid full of sunset pics with cryptic captions. She's sweet but intense, like she's auditioning for a coming-of-age movie. After graduation, she bounced around odd jobs, barista, Etsy crystal seller while chasing her music career. I've always cheered her on, even if I don't get the whole starving artist aesthetic. Zara's been hyping this concert for months, her first proper gig at a place called the Glitter Barn. It's this converted stable turned hipster haven, all fairy lights, mason jar cocktails, and a stage that smells faintly of hay. The vibe's cool, but it's also the kind of spot where people clap like they're at a poetry slam. She was opening for some local band, and I promised to show up mostly because she kept saying it was her make-or-break moment. I'm not huge on live music, give me a Twitch stream over a crowded venue any day, but I dragged myself out, paid the $15 cover, and even bought a overpriced kombucha to look supportive. The night started fine. I got there early, snagged a wobbly barstool, and chatted with Zara's other friends, a mix of her theater kid pals and some guy in a beret who kept name-dropping obscure folk artists. Zara was buzzing backstage, all nervous giggles and glittery eyeliner, texting me stuff like, "OMG, don't let me forget the lyrics to Moonlit Reverie." I sent back a thumbs-up emoji and settled in, expecting maybe a half-hour set. The glitter barn was packed, and the energy was high. People were snapping stories and whispering about how Zara was so authentic. Then she started playing. Look, I'm no music critic, but it was rough. Her voice was okay, kinda warbly in a coffee shop way, but every song sounded the same, slow, plinky guitar chords with lyrics about rivers and heartbreak. By song 3, I was zoning out, checking my phone to see if my Animal Crossing island needed weeding. She'd hyped this as soul-shifting, but it felt like a playlist you'd put on to fall asleep. The crowd was into it, doing that sway and not thing, but I was fighting yawns. After 45 minutes, with no end in sight, I was done. My butt was numb, my kombucha was flat, and I had a notification that my Discord server was popping off. I slipped out during a long instrumental bit, figuring she wouldn't notice. Big mistake. I got home, hopped on a Valorant match, and forgot about it until 2 a.m. when my phone blew up. Zara sent a wall of texts, "I saw you leave. How could you? That was my night." She said she spotted me sneaking out and it threw her off, made her mess up her last song. Apparently, she'd been counting on me to hold space for her, whatever that means. I texted back, trying to keep it light, "Sorry, wasn't feeling it." "You were great, though." That just made it worse. She called me, voice all shaky, saying I was unsupportive and didn't get her art. I got defensive, maybe too honest. "Zara, it was just kinda boring. I didn't want to sit there faking it. Cue the waterworks." She hung up, and now her friends are DMing me, calling me a tool. It's been a week and it's still a mess. Zara posted a vague TikTok about fake friends who ditch you, and I know it's about me because it's set to one of her own songs. Our mutuals are split. Some say I should have stayed to clap like a trained seal, others think Zara's being dramatic and I don't owe her my undivided attention. I tried apologizing via voice note, saying I'd come to her next gig, but she left me on read. Now I'm stuck wondering if I'm a bad friend or if she's asking too much. I mean, I showed up, didn't I? But maybe I should have sucked it up for her sake. Reddit, I'm lost. AITA for leaving her set early because I was bored, or is Zara overreacting? AITA for asking a dude at a festival to stop shoving me so I could actually hear the music, and now he thinks I'm some joyless buzzkill? Alright Reddit, I need your take because I'm still annoyed and second-guessing myself. I was at this massive outdoor festival last weekend, just trying to soak in my favorite band set, when this hyper dude in the crowd kept slamming into me like it was a mosh pit at a metal show. I finally asked him to chill so I could enjoy the music, and he laughed in my face, called me a boring old lady, and now I'm wondering if I was the problem. I just wanted to vibe, not wrestle. AITA? I'm 32, a dental hygienist with a side obsession for indie folk festivals. My happy place is a grassy field with a stage, a cold cider in my hand, and some banjo-heavy band making me feel like I'm in a Wes Anderson movie. I save up all year for Meadowbloom, this 3-day festival in a big park a couple hours from my town. It's got everything: food trucks slinging kimchi tacos, artisans selling handmade dream catchers, and a crowd that's half hipster, half granola. I go solo because my friends aren't into it, but I love blending into the patchwork quilt chaos, dancing barefoot, and chatting with strangers about which set stole the show. This year, I was hyped for the Wandering Pines, a band I've streamed obsessively since their first EP dropped on Bandcamp. Their music is like if a forest could sing plucky mandolins, haunting harmonies, the kind of stuff that makes you want to hug a tree. I staked out a spot near the main stage early, spreading my little picnic blanket next to a couple sharing a vape and a guy knitting a scarf. The crowd was chill, everyone swaying and singing along as the sun dipped low, painting everything golden. I was in heaven, mouthing the lyrics to Cedar and Starlight, when this guy, let's call him Chad, crashed the party. Chad was maybe mid-20s, decked out in a tie-dye tank top and a bucket hat with pins all over it, like he'd raided a festival merch tent. He was with a pack of equally loud friends, all clutching plastic cups of beer, yelling WOO every 5 seconds. At first, it was fine, festivals are loud, I get it. But then Chad started treating the crowd like his personal bounce house. He'd jump, flail his arms, and barge into people, including me, knocking my cider onto my blanket. I tried to shrug it off, dodging his elbows, but he kept pushing closer to the stage, shoving me sideways so I could barely see the band. My perfect moment was turning into a contact sport. After he stepped on my foot hard, I'd had enough. During a quiet song, when the lead singer was doing this gorgeous a cappella bit, I tapped his shoulder and said, "Hey, can you ease up on the pushing? I'm trying to listen." I kept my tone light, like I was asking him to pass the salt. He turned, sweaty and red-faced, and grinned like I'd told a joke. "Loosen up, Grandma. It's a festival, not a library." His buddies cracked up and one of them yelled, "Yeah, go knit with that scarf guy." I was stunned. I'm 32, not 80, and I wasn't asking for silence, I just wanted to hear the damn mandolin solo without getting body checked. I didn't back down though. I said, "Cool, have fun, but you're crushing me. There's room over there." I pointed to an open spot nearby. He rolled his eyes, called me a bore loud enough for people to turn, and then, get this, started jumping harder, like he was proving a point. The crowd around us split, some folks gave me sympathetic looks, others joined Chad's crew, turning the area into a mini mosh pit. I couldn't hear the band anymore, just whoops and laughter. Frustrated, I grabbed my soggy blanket and moved to the back, catching the last few songs from a distance. The Pines were amazing, but my vibe was wrecked. Later, I overheard Chad's group by the taco truck bragging about owning that uptight chick. I felt like such a loser, standing there with my soggy shoes and warm cider. On the festival's Discord server, someone posted about pushy crowd drama by the main stage, and a few people chimed in, saying folks should respect space. But others were like, "It's Meltdowns, expect chaos." Now I'm torn. Maybe I should have just moved sooner instead of confronting him, or maybe festivals aren't for me if I can't handle the Chads of the world. I love Meltdowns, but I spent good money to hear music, not to play dodgeball with a human piñata. Reddit, what's the deal? AITA for asking that guy to stop shoving, or should I have just sucked it up and embraced the festival free-for-all? AITA for not clapping after a band butchered their set at a party and now the host thinks I'm a total snob? Reddit, I'm spiraling here, so please help me figure this out. I was at a backyard party last weekend, thrown by my friend Marcus, who's all about his curated vibes. A local band played and they were straight up awful, think off-key wailing, and a guitarist who looked like he forgot how strings work. Everyone else clapped like it was a Grammy performance, but I just stood there, sipping my drink, because I'm not gonna fake it. Now Marcus is texting me that I was rude and killed the mood. I wasn't trying to be a jerk, but am I really obligated to cheer for a train wreck? I'm 27, a line cook at a diner, and my life's basically greasy aprons, late-night Waffle House runs, and scrolling X for dumb memes. I'm not some music snob, I jam to everything from Nirvana to that one catchy K-pop song my coworker blasts. But I've got this thing about honesty, if something sucks, I'm not gonna clap like a trained seal. Marcus though, he's my old high school buddy who's now a freelance event curator, whatever that means. He's always hosting these artsy shindigs, posting stories with hashtags like #VibeTribe. We've stayed tight despite him turning into a human Pinterest board. The party was at his new place, a rental with a big backyard that he decked out like a boho fever dream, string lights, thrift store rugs, a fire pit giving off major marshmallow vibes. He'd been hyping this band, the Rusty Spoons, for weeks, saying they were raw and genre-defying. I pictured something gritty, maybe lo-fi punk. About 30 of us showed up, Marcus's usual mix of yoga instructors, graphic designers, and one dude who kept trying to sell us NFTs. I brought a 6-pack of cheap beer and settled in, ready for a chill night. The Spoons took the stage, a corner of the patio with a single mic and some amps that looked like they'd been rescued from a dumpster. There were 3 of them, a singer with a man bun, a bassist who kept checking her phone, and the guitarist who, I swear, was wearing fingerless gloves unironically. They kicked off with a song that Marcus later called experimental, but it sounded like a cat fight in a blender. The singer was screeching about cosmic despair, the bassist was half a beat behind, and the guitarist kept stopping to retune mid-song. I tried to give it a chance, nodding along, but by their 3rd track, a cover of Wonderwall that made Oasis sound like Mozart, I was done. I parked myself by the cooler, scrolling X for dog videos to stay sane. When they finally rapped, the crowd erupted in applause, whooping like they'd just seen Springsteen. I stayed put, sipping my beer, arms crossed. I didn't boo or roll my eyes, I just didn't clap. Marcus, who'd been hyping them up all night, caught my vibe from across the yard. After the band packed up, he cornered me by the fire pit, all smiles but with that passive-aggressive edge. Yo, what was that? You couldn't even clap for them. I shrugged and said, they were rough, man. Didn't feel like faking it. His face tightened and he hit me with, that's so rude. They're starting out. You don't know how hard it is to put yourself out there. I tried to explain I wasn't trying to diss them, I just don't clap for stuff I don't like, but he cut me off, saying I'd sucked the energy out of the night. Things got awkward fast. A couple of Marcus's friends overheard and one whispered something about me being that guy. The band's singer came over to thank people and I swear he gave me side-eye like he knew I hadn't clapped. I stuck around for another hour but the vibe was off. Marcus kept shooting me looks and I felt like the designated villain. I left early, texting him a quick thanks for the invite to smooth things over. No reply. The next day he sent a novel of a message saying I'd embarrassed him in front of his community and that art deserves support, not judgment. I fired back, maybe too bluntly, I'm not gonna clap for noise pollution just to be nice. Now he's left me on read and our group chat's gone quiet. I'm torn. On one hand, I get that Marcus was proud of his party and maybe I could have just clapped to keep the peace. The spoons were trying, I guess, and I didn't need to make a statement by standing there like a grumpy statue. On the other, why's it on me to prop up a bad performance? I showed up, brought beer, didn't heckle, isn't that enough? Now I'm wondering if I'm just a cynical jerk who doesn't get Marcus's whole vibe curator thing. Reddit, lay it on me. AITA for not clapping for that awful band? Or is Marcus overreacting to my silence?